Caddis Maximus here, this time with a review of the Points of Light LED Christmas light. This is a bit of a switch up on my channel, but I do like these little multicolor LED light setups that they've been doing for Christmas lights. We've come a long way from just strands of incandescent bulbs. And then there was the infamous era of chaser lights, and now there's just all these kind of crazy lights that you can pick up. Some of them much better than this. But these have been around for a few years. This is made by a company called Gemmy, which seems to be who's selling a lot of these types of projector Christmas light setups. A lot of them are small. This happens to be their big remote control unit. This has 3 RGB, high power 1 watt RGB LEDs, and then like a 3 watt white LED in there. So it switches through all these modes. This is a slightly older one with a 14 color and 114 modes. I think the current one is a 15 color, 122 modes. But they changed the coloring. It isn't more this traditional black sphere unit. It's more of a, I don't know exactly how to put it. It looks like a big Christmas ornament. It's kind of funky. I thought it might be cool to just do an unboxing. I don't do that many unboxings here. I'm going to go ahead and just get this whole thing out of here, and this is all we have in there. It's really not packaged the greatest. I'm surprised that they just have it kind of sitting in a bag, floating around the bottom of the box. These things are actually surprisingly popular. Around where I live, I've seen actually quite a few of these specific units, and I did find this at a thrift store, surprisingly enough. But even on the box, we can see where it says $35. And these started out just a few years ago at $25, and their popularity is really, plus tariffs have caused their prices to actually go up quite a bit. All these Gemmy units actually seem to be pretty okay. They're all sealed with nice rubber gasketing. We can see on this unit they're actually using 12 screws that hold it all together. The newer units are bigger, so they don't have these wings, but the wings are, one side is for a stepper motor. It's a brushless stepper motor, so it is intended to be under continuous operation for long periods of time. Then we have this rotating sphere, which is actually not a bad molding because the molds have to be super polished, and it has basically a whole bunch of lenses like a insect's eyeball. And then the LEDs are mounted inside it. And so we have the motor driving on one side, and on the other side we have the power board and all the wires to the LEDs that go through the hole, and then it's also has like a bearing or a place where it rides on, and that's how they get the sphere to spin while making sure the LEDs stay in place. It's actually a fairly complicated design, plus the whole power supply to drive the thing and the radio system. And for people who like to throw, I guess I should say, college parties, that type of thing, this would be an excellent party light. It uses a friction gimbal that you just use this collar, although it could be a little bit tighter. They have this interesting setup where it's a stake, but if you pop it out, these things come out like wings, so it really is kind of more designed to be kind of an indoor device, I would say. I mean, it's totally water resistant. It has a sealed compression cord fitting as well as a gasket, but the whole tripod setup is kind of indicating that that's one of the, I should say, intended uses. And here we are. We can actually, in any mode, you can turn on and off the motor, and you just cycle through different color combinations, plus a bunch of additional modes where it kind of cycles through like this. I should compare this to some of the RGB laser stuff. Just a second. Here we go. It actually does pretty well at something like just 10 feet away. It'll cover 25 feet worth of width. And it really is, you know, if you don't like dealing with having tons of Christmas lights or hanging tons of Christmas lights, you can just use something like this, and one thing, it's done. I've always liked these kind of things, so I think this one's kind of cool. And since they've been around a few years now, they've kind of proven themselves. Anyway, let's compare to a couple other things here. Here's an odd comparison. What we have up here is red, green, and blue laser stars, and I always liked the intensity of the lasers, but they are pretty tiny and split out. They don't have a ton of lumens, and this one also has like a 15 color rotating 2 half-watt LED floodlights, so it's kind of weird where it has RGB stars, as well as a color 15 color rotating LED floodlight. I picked this one up just because all the parts, the stake, the housing, the ceiling ring, were all cast aluminum on this one. But to compare output, it's still this little points of light really is pretty bright. They put in some pretty stout LEDs because it totally just easily overpowers this RGB laser light here. We're going to do another comparison. This time this is with the show lights. This is a much more powerful RGB laser, as we can see here. Okay, and sorry for the pulsating effect. Either they're doing a fast switching on this laser light, or it's a function of the beam splitter. But if we compare this points of light, it's actually respectably bright, even against a pretty expensive RGB beam splitter animated laser projector. But using it in combination with the RGB laser projector, obviously you can get quite a bit of light effects and get some pretty impressive Christmas Christmas illuminations on the outside of your house with just a few different units. You don't have to be sitting there wiring up a ton of Christmas lights. String Christmas lights are awesome, and I love doing those, but some years it may be nice just to do something like this, which is just really dazzling and just can cover the whole front of your house or wherever. Or you can have it inside and just projecting against the curtain and really get a pretty neat effect. Anyway, I thought this was kind of a well thought out product, and it doesn't have the worst build quality. You're kind of getting what you pay for. It'll take a few drops. It won't fall off a upper shelf onto the concrete floor. I'm sure it'd break then, but it's really not too bad. It can handle normal beating and being packed up and that type of stuff. Obviously this lens is going to get scratched up pretty easy, but I was always wondering about these and a bunch of the other animated Christmas lights that have been showing up over the last few years, and they're almost all been manufactured by this Gemmy company. And a lot of those animated Halloween ghosts and bats and all that kind of stuff, still, it was like Gemmy decided to be the big projector light company. And compared to the lasers and stuff, it really is pretty effective. It has just such a huge coverage area because of this big lens. Literally, somebody like a block down the street has like 2 of these in front of their small little house. Anyway, I'm going to end this review here, but I thought this was a cool little light. And I know they sell them at Walmart, but they sell them at a few other places. I am not a Walmart shopper. That's why you don't see a lot of Walmart product reviews. But for other reviews, please do subscribe to the Catus Maximus channel. And everybody who has subscribed, I really appreciate it and really do appreciate the support. It just makes me excited to make more videos. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.